Hi, everybody. More tips. What I need is filming tips. Yeah. Nope, you're never going to get the high quality, I guess, from me. Someday it'll happen, right? Someday. All right, so I did the one about, can you see me? You can't. Looking over the top of here. One of the things DM screen does is create a barrier between you and the players. It creates a barrier in your communication with the players, right? We're playing a role-playing game that is heavily dependent on communication. That's why some people get rid of them. Also, some people get rid of them because, the dice. They want the players to see what's being rolled. Because the dice don't lie. It takes, it keeps everybody honest. Right? You may not like the results of the dice, but it keeps everybody honest. Makes the dice, when they are rolled, very relevant. If you never roll dice, if that's your style of playing a role-playing game, which I think there's at least one game out there like that, that's fine. I'm not going to say don't play that way, but if that's what's going on, if you're fudging the dice all the time, then just get rid of your dice. Again, what you use in your game should be a value in the game, the tools, right? Right? So let's talk about one of the tools, which is the rule books. Your adventures, your modules. Now, if you're buying a module, or it's your first time, you got the starter kit. One of the things, tip: be prepared. Be prepared for the crazy things the players do. You can't control what the players do. They will always come out of left field on you. Pre-made thing like the Lost Mines of Phandelver. Read it. Actually read it. And what you're going to find out is there's a bunch of information that's not on the Game Master thing that came with it. This didn't come with it. It came with a different one. It's in the shelf. And a bunch of information needs in the back of the book. So let's say you're not using these at all. Okay. That means you need to have in your notes, however you're doing your notes, however you're doing your role playing, there are different ways to do this stuff. But let's say you've got it like here. You got a little booklet. You should read through it. You should find out that all the stats I'm going to need, all the statistical information to make target numbers and deal with armor class and what kind of damage things do. It's in the back of the book. In the back of the book. Nothing slows down a game quicker than the DM being like, okay, what page is that on? I know I saw it in here. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. I have the screen now. Hold on, guys. It stops your role playing. You're having one of those moments that we all know isn't the optimum. It doesn't really matter your style of play. You can be a very mechanical player, but at that point in time, just like everybody else does, DMs, everybody, that's not your optimal play. It just isn't. You're not optimizing you as the referee, the GM, the dungeon master. You're not being the best you can be. All right. So prepare. Look, I prepared when I set out to play this the first time we played. I knew there was stuff, and I color coded it that I might need to refer to, and I wanted to get to it quickly because God love WotC. The things that are tabbed in here are things that I wanted on the Dungeon Master screen. that I'm talking about. I'm telling you the bad sides of the Dungeon Master screen, and it can be just poorly printed Dungeon Master screens. Okay? You don't have the information yet. So I had to put sticky notes all over my Dungeon Master screen on the inside. And because the way the book's laid out, the adventure, what did I end up doing? I went back here, found information. Most likely the players were going to attempt, right? At least the very start adventure, you know. And I went through and I made myself notes and I stuck it in the book where I needed it. I got a bugbear's info in here. Yep, bugbear, wolf. See? Okay, because it wasn't where it needed to be. But the only way I would know that is if I did some prep. I read through it. And like every printed module, with the exception of one, which was the very first. It wasn't even called a module. What was it? What did they call it? Dungeon kit. So every pre-made adventure, module, adventure, whatever you want to call them, I've ever had, with the exception of one, always starts out with some kind of advice like, "Yo, read it from beginning to end. Understand the language in here." Fun. I've got pre-made adventures behind me. There's lots of things I like about them, but they have some huge missing things. Things I can't just go pull out of a Dungeon Master guide either. I'm going to have to create those things, fix it. Like, oops, they forgot to put in, tell us what the armor class is of a half polar bear, half human centaur type thing. You know, polar bear on the bottom, human torso and head and arms on the top. That bear people. I don't even know what to call them. I have to come up with a name. But they're in one of my games back here. Got this big adventure. They mention them. They got little cute pictures of them. They're darling. The cubs are darling. And all this stuff is right there. And you might have to fight these guys. You might have to defend these guys. I don't know. But there's no information on them whatsoever other than, hey, they're there in the middle of this whole possible combat situation. Possible. That means that if I run that, I'm going to have to be the one who makes the decisions on what the capabilities of these beings are in that game. I do believe it's one of the flaws that's complained about on the internet. Well, you know, I could complain about it. I could say, how could they miss that? Well, they did. You know, it doesn't matter. I can fix it. But if I didn't look through there and go, oh, wait, I wouldn't have known that. So I know it's there. I know if I ever play that module as written, like I ever do that. But I know I can't really play it as written because I'm going to have to go in there and fix some things. Anyway, so prepare yourself for when the players go on an adventure. Prepare yourself. If you have a wandering monster chart with 10 monsters on it, let's say, have that information handy in case, you know, you roll a dice and you get one of the 10. You're like, but that's work. But not necessarily. 3x5 cards are your friends. Have a little card holder, you know, that's got your wandering monsters in it. You have them by terrain or something. So, you know, like, oh, when I use my forest wandering monster chart, I can just go to the little forest tab here and pull out those 10 monsters. All right. And, you know, use them for a while that way and then come up with forest wandering monster chart number 2 when you want to shake it up, right? A little preparation on your end goes a long way. You will have to do some things on the fly. There's a video about that, and it's called Learning to Make Rulings. Learning to make things up on the spot. Sometimes you got to do that. It's okay. Just do it. Go with it. Reskinning stuff. Done it too. So we'll get to all that. But help yourself. Get things like this. Put sticky notes and stuff. That's why when you buy old books, they got scribbles and people have written stuff in there, and people are, oh, my book isn't pristine. Well, it's like 30, 40 years old. What are you expecting? Whoever had it first was dealing with some issues. Sometimes there's like corrections in the text because the publisher made a boo-boo and it didn't get fixed, and then it came out in like another thing. All right, so like I said, prepare yourself a little bit. You're not going to be able to anticipate everything players do. It's not possible. But the more prepared you are realistically about the things, like if you don't really have a big excuse if they're actually in a dungeon, they're in a confined space on the spaceship. If they exit that spaceship through an airlock, they're dead, right? No vacuum pack suit on, they got a problem. All right, so they're in a confined space, exploring, with their torches and whatnot, electrical or fire, and you should know what kind of challenges you're going to be giving them and have that information available. So it doesn't matter if they go left in the corridor or they go right in the corridor. All right, you know what's over on the right side, you know what's over on the left side. Heck, if you're really clever, because it's your own game, you could have a list of things, and it doesn't matter whether they go left or right in the corridor. Thought. You just change what's happening in the different rooms. So maybe you had planned that stuff to be on the left side, and you would give them all the hints they needed to go to the left first, but they decided to go to the right, and the right's just going to get them killed. Transpose the map. They're not ready for the other side. Or you can just let them die. I mean, it's up to you, but you have a lot of control as the GM to deal with unexpected things. They decide to go like on the road, and they were told making the right would take them to a cave full of dangers where no one's returned, or they could go to the slight and investigate the disturbance on Hollow Hill, but nobody's died there. And they're first level players. You really want them to go to Hollow Hill, but you're making this whole sandbox thing because everybody says it's the best. They go to the cave instead. Well, maybe they got the rumor wrong. Maybe Hollow Hill is a dangerous place, and the cave is the place where the super dangerous stuff doesn't happen. Flip the encounter. Unless you want to end the game the first session. You've got the power to make some choices that helps the players when you know they're completely unprepared for something. Especially if they're new players, have not played D&D before, and they're like, you just let the kindergarten class go into the meat grinder for real, and they have no clue, and they only have one character. You did not give them 5 to kill, so one person makes it back, all right, per player. If you want to do meat grinder, that's cool. Tell them you're doing meat grinder so they know it's whatever they're going to go do is super dangerous, and have them have all those characters. But if that wasn't your intention, if your intention was for them to go off and have a nice intro session game where they learn the game mechanics and start learning to role play, then you need to make sure that happens. And you guys can tell me I'm railroading people all you want, but sometimes you have to a little bit. Then you can open it up to the big bad world. And now that you guys know how to kill a rabbit, not be killed by the rabbit, and now that you guys know how to talk to NPCs and, and cast a spell and, almost got yourselves killed, but not quite, do saving throws, all that stuff, then let them go out and be as stupid as you want. But try to get them at least past session 1 with somebody alive. All right? Because you're supposed to be teaching them how to play. Unless you're doing a one-shot, in which case you're like, we're doing a one-shot, and these are the throwaway characters. That's cool, too. But what I'm getting at, though, is if one of the things that's freaking you out is letting them go in a sandbox world because there's so much things that you feel unprepared for, remember, it's your world. So, just because there's a huge map, like if you buy a box thing like Forgotten Realms, I have the original Forgotten Realms map back here somewhere, and put that out. It's a huge map. Yeah, there's a huge continent, but your players are on this little teeny hex here. Just one little spot, and they're going to explore in this area, around this area. Okay, you have control of what's in that area. Exercise it by being prepared for them to wander around, lost, confused, and trying to figure out how to play the game. Let them have encounters that are appropriately skilled for them. Give them rumors that will direct them in the right direction, and not every rumor there possibly is, or I guarantee you they will go for the most dangerous thing they shouldn't have gone for. That's why you read the book carefully. Believe me, I've made mistakes. I've given them the wrong rumors, and then you're like, oh my God, the party's going to die, because they're going to die. Okay, I've not read a module completely through and then realized at a critical point I need a rules, some information, and I'm pulling out books, and the whole game has come to a stop. You don't want to be in that situation, is what I'm getting at. So don't set yourself up for that failure in the system. Okay, set yourself up for success, because if you're set up for success as the GM, you are in fact setting up your party, the players, for success in role playing, because the more smooth things are on your end, the more likely they're going to actually role play. I hope that makes sense. At least you won't be bogged down going, okay, the DM, I guess it's smoke and drink and potty breaks, because the DM's going to spend 30 minutes looking up something. You don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to put the group in that situation. Sometimes they go completely off left field, and you are going to have to take a break. They did something completely unexpected. Completely, like, even after years of playing, people do stuff, and I'm just like, I gotta brainstorm now. All right. Completely, they just do, like, nope, we were going to go do that, but now we're going to do this other thing that, they just do a 180 on you, and so you're going to have to do some fast work. But the more prepared you are, the easier it is to do that fast work. The easier it is to be like, oh, no problem. Let me do a wandering monster roll here. Slow them down with a wandering monster. Whatever. While you're making some notes about the general direction they're going and what you think's down there, and that's what's going to be there. Reskin something that you already had set up. Whatever you got to do, just do it. The less time you're down in the game session, the more time they get to play, the more time they role play, the more they stay immersed, because that's the thing, right? Immersion, that's the word, right? That's what you want. Nothing can be 100%, okay, but you can limit the little speed bumps in the road, so to speak. So that's my suggestion. Prepare yourself. Think about everything that's going to be needed. Like I'm writing an adventure right now. I got all these little notes. I got to sit down and I got to flesh out everything for a whole freaking moon base. Okay? Why? Because they could wander anywhere in that darn thing before they figure out how to get out. They could. Yeah. So I've got to think about, where everything is, how am I going to do stuff, what threats are, all that stuff. So now, in reality, will they probably wander around the whole moon base? Oh, probably not. I'll probably spend way more time prepping than I needed to. On the other hand, that prep then can get recycled. Can recycle the stuff they didn't use. Maybe they never deal with a killer robot. The killer robot could be on a spaceship next session that they're, trying to salvage or something. Whatever's going on the space station they visit, who knows? You can take the things that weren't used and put them somewhere else. That's how you do this stuff. That's how you try to think a couple steps ahead of them. So, and not, really, I've had them do like crazy stuff. One time I had a party. They all were supposed to go to the ruins. They were all gung ho for the ruins. Yes, they're going to go to these ruins. It was like a tomb or something. That's where they were going. They got there. They took one look at the place and they said, nope. Whole adventure junked like that. With them going, oh yeah, let's, hey, we're on an island. Let's go to the beach. It's that way. Off they went. Did I have a beach adventure prepared for them? No, I had an evil tomb temple. I don't remember. They're supposed to go to the ruins. Their ruins adventure prepared. Now they're going to the beach. They're going to go have a beach party. So I had to reskin things. I had to think quick. I had to pretend like no problem. It was a total problem. And jot, right? Jot. Oh yeah, this is attacking you, right? There's these things on the way, And get to the beach, and I had to have the beach adventure. And I reskinned some stuff. I turned some of my tunnels into caves. Had stalagmites, all this stuff, It's a little more man-made. It was now all natural, and ocean rolling in, and, and we had ocean-appropriate monsters, That's what they wanted to go do. I don't know. They wanted to fight something from the ocean. And I just made stuff up as I went because I didn't have time to get books. Sometimes you got to do that. All right? You gotta go with it. And just make some calls. Okay, it's metal, so its AC should be, it's about like this. Okay, fine. It's got a really strong hide. I'm gonna make its AC this. You just roll with it. You make stuff up. You just go with it. Because what is being a DM? What is being a role player? It's a bunch of people making stuff up anyway. So just at that point, you just use your rules as guidelines. Reskin stuff. Have some pre-prepared wandering monster charts. Cards are your friend. Have some prepared, traps, things like that. That it doesn't matter what the players go off and do. If you need to pull that, then you can. Have some NPCs. Generic NPC cards. You need some commoners. Here's the commoner card. Boom. Just so you have the stats. Have a little card file. Card file's your friend. And you have that stuff. I have flippy cards. I've done this. It works. Make your aids that work for you, but make it so you can speed up the game, speed up the game, speed up the game. And people will be like, wow, that was awesome, you know? You on the other hand are totally breaking a sweat, but as long as they don't see you sweating, that's all that matters. As long as everything keeps rolling along. All right? You're not railroading them. You're adapting the scenarios. You're changing things to respond to what they're doing. Now, the fact that they didn't go to the ruins, and there was a whole hook, there was a whole reason for them to go to the ruins. The next session after their side trip, there should be a consequence for that. Not because you're mean and vengeful and petty. That's not it. Is there was a reason to go to the ruins, which I've now long forgotten, but because they didn't go to the ruins and do what they were supposed to do, and they did this other thing, that should be relevant in the game. It should change something on the island. Makes sense? Maybe not in the direction they thought it would. Like they didn't think it was that important, but maybe it really was important, like what you had planned out. So now they didn't retrieve the thing they were supposed to retrieve. And, now there's undead walking all over or go down there and put something in the ruins, let's say. Now there's undead all over the island eating people. Now they have a zombie problem, it's that sort of thing. So make it interactive, be adaptable, be a little flexible. But the best way to be flexible is to think how they're going to go run off the reservation. Because they're going to go. And anybody who writes that I just said something bad, stop. Stop. You don't know what my genetic ancestry in total is, and you don't know what my family says in total. So just stop. Just don't. Unless you've watched enough videos or live chats to know. And don't talk to me about that stuff because I've actually been to reservations, so I know. If you can get off the res, and that's a good thing. A lot of reses are unpleasant still. It's just unacceptable. But they're going to do this. They're going to go left field on you. They're going to throw monkey wrenches in. Go with it. Roll with it. Roll with the punches. All right, I'm going to end the video here because I still got to do the energy video. Redo that one. But yeah, I wanted, you don't want to be looking for page 180 for the roll on page 180 and then being like, oh, that's in a different book. You don't want to do that. So prep yourself. Prep your books. Organize yourself as best you can, and it will pay off. It will absolutely pay off. Also, streamline your rules. Streamline your rules, and I'm serious. I mean, I've played some crunchy mathematical games. Streamline your rules as much as you can. And if you got to change something to make the game work, change the game rules. Whatever you got to do, okay? Because you're the head. Believe it or not, GMs who have a tendency to separate themselves from the players doing the PCs, you're actually the one leading the game. So that means you're not supposed to be adversarial. You're supposed to be neutral and set up really fun, exciting things, interesting things, challenging things. And they're going to challenge you right back. That's their job. And in the process, they're going to come up with some cool stuff. So they're going to rise to your challenges. You have to rise to their challenges. It's a mutual thing. And that's how you get a good role-playing game going. Anyway, I got to go. This is like going to be 30 minutes. Like, subscribe, comment. Chat with y'all later. Bye.